Yung she na pinag-uusapan namin is my manager in America. And she told Casey, because something happened. Okay, ngayon pwede ko na ikwento. Ito po talagang nangyari. Because I had a surprise for my Sharonians, for all of you guys. My big surprise was that I was coming to Hollywood. My first Hollywood film, not for any platform, not for Netflix, not for any platform, but for cinematic release with premieres all over. Produced by Dan Lin, who made Aladdin, and the Amblin partner, and the big boss, the one and only Steven Spielberg. The very first all-Filipino cast na I was so honored to have been chosen to be part of. At ang lead star po nito ay si Jo Koy, ang ating one and only, our very own Jo Koy. Now, Jo Koy was the one who handpicked me to be in his movie. He suggested to the producers that put this, pinag-usapan ako, kunenta ako. And then I had several Zoom meetings already with the producer. The casting directors, the director, our director Jay, and then later on with Joe. I read for the role, kasi dalawa lamang, aside from Joe Koy, dalawa lang ang lead roles na parehong babae. Kasi it's loosely based on his life. So, kasi komedyante siya, alam ng mga tao yung lagi he would talk about his mom sa kanyang post sa Netflix, right? So, anyway, so one of the two female lead roles was the role of his mom and the role of his mom's sister, yung tita niya, who was actually the one who was very supportive of Jo Koy becoming a comedian and pursuing a comedic career, a career in comedy. And very close siya doon, si Tita Teresa niya. Anong nangyari po, I'll say it na as it is, Dada, kasi it's finished na naman. Yung kinikwento ni Nanay Christy na isang dokumento, ganito yon. Dapat umalis ako ng May 18 to fly to LA, and the very next day, fly to Canada kung saan ang shooting. Sa Canada, may 2-week quarantine. At ang umpisa ng shooting namin ay dapat May 3, I think, or something. Now, in Hollywood, it's very different because napaka-efficient ng kanilang pagtrabaho na nakaschedule na yung buong shooting. Every single day of the filming was scheduled. Of course, permits for locations were already gotten and confirmed. And because Jo Koy has to stick to this tight schedule, since he's going to have a very long and very big tour. Kumbaga sa concert tour, siya yung kanyang stand-up comedy act, ito-tour niya. So, kailangan matapos yung movie in time, which was supposed to be end of June. Okay, ang nangyari po sa akin is, they swabbed me. Dapat kasi kung sasakay ka ng aeroplano before leaving the Philippines. And I could leave because I am a U.S. immigrant. I'm a legal resident here. So, what happened was, before you get on a flight, of course, you have to get a PCR test. A COVID test. About, what is it, like at least 3 days before your flight. So, I was flying out May 18. On May 16, I got swabbed by one laboratory that I cannot find it in my heart to forgive. I'm sorry, I won't mention it. Because on May 17, I was leaving on the 18th, remember. On May 17, I was waiting for my results, and I had a Zoom meeting with our, travel coordinator. You see, these big productions have a travel coordinator. They have lahat may coordinators and for everything. So everything, Eugene, one of the actors in Jo Koy's movie, was also in that Zoom meeting. Our travel coordinator was in that Zoom meeting. My assistant Penny was in that Zoom meeting. Peachy was in that Zoom meeting because Peachy was coming to be my assistant. dahil hindi pwede magsama ng marami because of COVID restrictions, especially in Canada. So anyway, she was telling us, you know, you get your working packets, you have them already, so, and then when you land in LA, this person will meet you, and then you're just gonna walk from the airport to spend the night in this hotel that's connecting, and then the next morning, this is the map of the Vancouver airport. It was so detailed, it was so wonderful. She was a wonderful lady, and she was zooming in with us from Canada. So I was so happy, and I told Eugene, I am so excited to meet you in person and to work with you because you're really funny. As it was the first time I met him, and he plays Jo Koy's cousin in the movie. Anyway, to make a long story short, natapos yung meeting. I was so happy. Nakapack na kami. We were ready to leave the next day, and I was gonna announce to you the very next day and say something like, "Well, Hollywood." Whatever, you know, I'm finally going to meet you or something and surprise all of you, my Sharonians. And what happened was, wala pang 5 minutes after the Zoom meeting, my assistant called me to say, "Ma'am, di po kayo makakalis bukas." I said, "What?" "Positive po yung COVID test, no?" So, napanik ako. I said, "What?" "Positive po." So, natural, nasabi dun nasabi ko agad sa manager ko. So, it was a big problem because everyone was ready. They couldn't afford any delays. And naturally, it was heart-wrenching and heartbreaking for me. I literally, nanlambot ako na para ako natunaw. Ito yung masakit. After this test by that lab, which I still cannot forgive, I immediately scheduled 3 different labs to come and test me again. After that, the next day, another different lab. So, pang-apat na. Later on, for ABS, we had swabs. So, it was a total of 7 tests after that first supposedly positive test. All the 7 different labs tested me negative. Aww. So, hindi ba naman heartbreaking yun? That's why I was depressed. At hindi ko pa nakwento sa inyo yung bakit ako masaya, tas bakit bigla ako nalungkot. Walang may alam. So, it was, parang feeling ko, it was false positive, and 7 different reputable, trusted labs tested me negative. And I didn't, wala akong sakit eh. Wala akong sakit. That same lab na nag-test sa akin ng positive, tinest ng positive, yung masahista ko, na natakot din siya, because she's not so young anymore. She's been with me since hindi ko pa asawa si Kiko, 94. Tapos pinatest ko siya ulit, negative. Kasi magkasama kami dun sa, parang nag-quarantine na lang kami, just to be sure, because my kids have morbid, what do you call it?
Comorbidity.
Comorbidities, yes. So, my 3 kids have asthma. And pag ikaw ay nagkaroon ng COVID, at ikaw ay may asthma, ang asthma ay problema sa paghinga, di ba? It's something that can really, it's one of those diseases that can actually accelerate either it can be fatal, accelerate your being sick and all that. So, that's why my kids got vaccinated with her dad. Well, Frankie, because she's 21, turning 21. Now, it took me, ganito kasi ako pag medyo namumroblema, which my husband of 25 years knows very well already about me. Parang pag may namatay, I shut down. So when I am depressed over something, or nawalan ako ng kaibigan, or nawalan ako ng napakalaking oportunidad na hindi na maibabalik sa akin. Kahit gusto nila Jo Koy at ng director ko na nandun pa rin ako, wala silang choice kundi tuloy yung movie. So my role as Tita Teresa went to Tia Carrere. She played the sister of the ate of Lilo in Lilo and Stitch, yung boses niya. She was also in Wayne's World for all of you Gen Xers like us, no? She's half Filipino, so she got my role. She already had a role in the movie, so when I couldn't make it, she got the other lead role. And I'm glad she did. But it broke my heart. It really did. Because it was such an honor to be in the very first all-Filipino production in Hollywood, backed by a producer as big as Steven Spielberg. And up to now, when I think about, ayan, medyo pinipigil ko yung luha ko. Hindi lang para sa akin, I felt dala-dala naming lahat yung bandila ng Pilipinas. Na parang, you know, in the middle of all this Asian hate going on in America and some parts of the world, we were so proud that there was Mr. Spielberg was backing this movie of Philippines. And it breaks my heart because I love Jo Koy. And later I'll post, kasi sa Zoom meeting namin, sabi niya, wait, let me take a picture. Sabi ko, me too. Yung screen lang, kinukunan namin magkasama kami. And we were so excited. So, yun ang kinabreak ng puso ko. At pinabayaan ako ni Kiko na magluksa over it. And since they're in Canada, sabi ko talaga, I need to go to America and just leave the country kasi and also make myself productive here. So I licked my wounds here, lahat ng mga, parang feeling ko, it was such a nice surprise sana sa Sharonians ko at sa buong Pilipinas din na it was something we could all be proud of. Kasi hindi pa ginawa yun ever na all-Filipino cast sa Hollywood. Tapos si Steven Spielberg, yung producer mo. And I had a good rapport with my director, Jay, who's also an actor. He's Indian-American, East Indian-American. And I was looking forward to working with him so much, especially with Jo Koy. So, yun ang dahilan. Para ako namatayan. And Kiko just let me be. Because he's such a supportive husband, he just, you know, prayed for me, with me. There were times hindi ako sumasama sa kahit dinner kasi nakahiga lang ako umiyak. Di ba, Dad? Ganun lang. But he let me be. And sanay na sila sa akin, pati mga anak ko. When Mama's, I don't know. I grew up kasi only girl. Yung kuya ko, 5 years ang tanda sa akin. Sanay ako mag-isa. I always dealt with sadness on my own, and I've never been self-destructive. Kailangan lang mailabas ko, parang mailuksa ko lang, maiiyak ko lang. So, syempre, hindi ko mabibili yung oportunidad, hindi maibabalik sa akin dahil lang sa isang pagkakamal sa COVID test. Kasi 7 labs against 1, siguro naman tama yung 7 at hindi yung 1. At di naman ako nagkasakit talaga. So, yun po ang nangyari.